All right, good folks. First, confirm that you can hear me. I forgot to do it the way I was supposed to. Normally, when Kenyon and myself are both on, I run it through StreamYard, and that way, we can see he can see comments and everything without having to go to the computer. But for whatever reason, I was stuck in my own routine, and I typed up the write up and posted it like I normally would, so I didn't feel like redoing it. So here we are. I'm basically have it casting through OBS. So if y'all could just confirm, man, that y'all can hear me. Okay, Jared Devil just did. We'll go ahead and get started. Let me throw the timer on. Still got to be mindful of time, with my crazy schedule. But before I do that, let's say what's up to the early commenters. And it's only a few of y'all right now, man, because again, I usually start it in advance, but I didn't do that. But we'll say hello to the commenters really quick. Then we'll jump into it. Then I'll start the timer. Got to say what's up to 412 Born and Raised, Mark Cunningham, Amon Bozeman. Hello, Lanisha, as well as Destiny. I love the ladies in the chat. Make sure y'all take time and say hello to the ladies. Ollie Howard, Joshua Shield, Y Diggy. Who else is in here? What's that? Quez Capalot? Okay. Eric Walker. Jared Devil. Who else? Bettsburg. And we'll stop it right there. Ain't no need of doing the drawn out intro. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to throw the timer on. Boom. Well, hopefully y'all see it. Hold on. Maybe y'all won't. Because I forgot I got to lower this a little bit. Lower our perspective. There it is. Boom, boom. Boom, pow. Do I want to cut the canvas on? All right. Makes it look nicer. But anyway, man, let's jump into it. Phone number is on the screen, but as of right now, we're not going to take any phone calls tonight. Again, it's might be counterproductive tonight, but otherwise, we got to figure out how we can make sure we can get Kenyon on through Blog Talk. For some reason, when he's tried to call the phone number, it never lets him call in. So what we're going to try to do maybe in the future, I think we're going to plan on doing another still table, I would say before the season starts. So kind of after preseason wraps up, we could do another one, maybe even that Tuesday before the season starts. That might be a good idea because I know just a quick heads up, it won't affect you guys, but I'm going to, it won't affect y'all in any kind of way because it's not Tuesday. But I'm going to Vegas the week of the 30th. We're leaving on the 30th. We'll be back on Labor Day. Yeah. So it won't affect y'all either way. But I think that's probably the best time to do it is right before the season. So that first, we'll kick off Terrible Towel Tuesday to start week 1 with a still table. Unless one of us is not available for whatever reason. But outside of that, like I said, man, we just going to wing it tonight. We want to kind of talk a little bit about what we saw in the game, who stood out. That's kind of my title. Who stood out in the game, how we feel after that game. It's still preseason, but, what little things we may have saw with the offense, whose job might be on the line, who looked impressive. Is there still any camp battles, so to speak, that we saw out of that game? So I'll throw it to Kenyon, man. I do a lot of talking every week, so I definitely want to give Kenyon as much of the floor as possible, man. So wherever you want to start, even if it's not what I just mentioned. I know, like I said, we're winging it tonight, so whatever you want to dive into.
I watched the game last night, so my first, rewatching it, you kind of, zero in on what you're looking at, and there are a couple of players that were impressive. I don't take too much from the preseason. I just want to let y'all know, first game, I'm not going to take too much from it because, it's kind of a combination of training camp and the game. So you have to see what people are doing in training camp and the game. But I liked what I saw from the first unit offense. They did what they were supposed to do. Enjoyed how they just went down, scored, got it over with, got out the game. That was like the best possible scenario we could have had.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that. Kenny Pickett was on point. I can't really grade them higher than that because it's second string Tampa Bay defense. It's like they don't have like their main linebackers. They weren't playing, so it's tough. But I just like how they executed, and I liked how the offense kind of flowed a little bit. I think Canada is not really showing too much, but I just like how they can get the basic stuff and just walk down the field and do that. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Deontay Johnson just getting in there, getting his receptions, getting a little warm and get out the game. I like Pickens get his warm reception and get out the game. I enjoyed all that. So from the first drive, that would be my first impressions of what I saw. Defensively, I enjoyed the way that they played, but it's hard because it's vanilla defense. So it's like you can see their basic defense, but it's a vanilla defense. And Roberts was only in there for 2 snaps. So it's just tough. JPJ didn't play, so it's kind of it's hard to really see what you're seeing. Maybe in the Buffalo game we'll see more. Maybe more people will play. Maybe in the third game people will play, or maybe not. But I'm just interested to see how these situations go. We can dive into more of that after that. But that's my first impressions from the first drive and the first defensive drive. So how do you feel about what you saw?
Yeah, man, it's interesting. Giving my thoughts, I've looked at a comment right here, and I don't know if you pronounce it, my man, Mr. Is it Malvo? Or, I know sometimes that EAUX is like Vo. But he says, Mr. Malvo says, talking my talk 562 style. Okay, so I guess he's representing his area code. He says, question. So it doesn't matter if it was second and third stringers. I think he's referring to Kenny Pickett. I'm not 100% sure. And if I'm wrong with that, Mr. Malvo, hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. He says correct. Please correct me there. But I want to say this, and it kind of ties into how I felt about what I saw. I wonder why is it that we do that a lot as fans? We always try to discredit what we see as far as talent-wise and execution. I get it, man, that wasn't the first string. I get it. I understand that. But what I wanted to see out of Kenny Pickett is decision-making, decisiveness, accuracy, execution, taking command of the offense. He did that. So even if it was the second string, I mean, again, we didn't have a complete starting unit out there either for the most part. I mean, maybe offensively you want to say that, but it wasn't. And I'm sure that Tampa Bay had some starters out there. I don't know their lineup, but you understand what I'm saying? So it's not like we're sitting here saying, he says, I can tell you why, because the hype from last year still doesn't add up. Oh, okay. So you're on that side of it. Fine. You don't like Kenny Pickett, I guess. Fine. Again, I'm only going to say this as my opinion as fans. I don't know why we do that once the players are on our team. We can have our opinions. Some people still don't like the fact that we drafted Naji. Fair. It's a fair assessment, but it's like they own the team now. So what good does it do me as a fan to still harp on, I still don't think this dude is it. He might not be, but I take a different approach. And Malvo, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it don't do me any good to now say, I still don't like him. Or the hype train was. The Steelers took who they thought was the best option at 20 in a quarterback. They feel like Kenny Pickett is a guy that will be here for a while. So I'm invested in seeing if and when he will become the guy, rather than me worrying about, he still don't look good to me. Okay. I mean, you're welcome to that opinion, but I disagree. I think Kenny Pickett showed us, and I know I'm going off track a little bit, but I think he showed us in the last 4 games of the season his mettle, what he can be. I don't know what his ceiling is, but he showed me a lot, his grit, those back-to-back weeks of, not only fourth quarter wins, but winning when it mattered. Remember, the Steelers were fighting for a playoff spot, limiting his interceptions, right? Of course, he had some early. I mean, we expect that from a rookie. Didn't have, many during the latter half of the season, and then he comes out in preseason here and he goes 6 out of 7 or whatever it is and goes right down the field. And I get it. Let's see what he does against the number ones. Fair. But I'm seeing progression out of him. We'll see what happens from here. So that's kind of my approach. But anyway, I kind of share what Kenyon said, man. I kind of talked about it after the game on the post-game show. I thought the offense looked very fluid. I don't want to get so caught up in preseason because I don't want to be results biased. I don't want to look at how that offense went down the field. Now I'm thinking, oh, man, we got a top 5 offense in the league. No, because to Malvo's point, we still got to really see it against who they're supposed to be playing against and for a duration of a whole game. But it did look like Kenny picked right up where he left off last year, and I cannot be upset about that. Couple things I noticed right out the gate, and we'll get to the donation here in a second, Luis, but appreciate it. Thank you. One thing I noticed right out the gate, they came out passing the ball. 3 consecutive passes. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they started in shotgun. Love that, because that's not the Steeler norm. I love the fact that, okay, everybody knows we want to run the football, but we ain't just going to do that because y'all know we want to do that. I could be reading too much into that, Kenyon, but that's kind of how it felt to me. Like, oh, okay. Everybody know we built the team to run and we want to get to ground and pound, and then we come out like that. Is that sending some type of signal to let teams know, don't think we can't run, pass the ball, and don't think we can't run that type of offense if we want to. Look who he went to back to back to back. Deontay Johnson. Look at some of them moves Deontay was making after the catch, like making 2 or 3 guys miss in like this amount of space. The catch that he made on the sideline. Again, for all of you that don't understand that man's value, I love seeing Deontay Johnson. They letting us know, no, this dude is still the dude. Love seeing George Pickens improving his rack on a play like on that touchdown. That's something that he got criticized for last year. He made the big play, but people, we want to see his yak game, his yards after catch. That looked good. I got a chance to see Darnell Washington basically like on that run when Warren picked up about 10 yards. Go back and look at that play. Darnell Washington wiped out like 2 people on that whole left side. I love seeing that. So we got a chance to see physical Steelers as well as pass finesse, I guess you would call it. I don't know if it was finesse, but that might not be the word. But I think we got to see all of what the offense could offer in a balanced attack. One criticism I will say, Kenyon, and it's just for a player itself, and I don't know if it's his fault. It's probably more of Matt Canada's fault, but I want us to run halfback screens more, yes, but I don't want to run them to Naji Harris. Some people are going to say that's not fair because that was good defense on that play. It was, but Naji is no, and I keep pulling the thing out of the headphones. Naji is no Le'Veon Bell. Naji he's not really the guy, at least we don't see it much. He's not making you miss that much in open field. He's either going to stiff arm you, perhaps run you over, perhaps put his shoulder down, or he's going to look like a big man trying to shuffle his feet. He don't have that. He don't have it.
Yeah.
He just don't. So it makes it look a little crazy sometimes when he's put in situations where you're wanting him to beat the one man. It's not going to happen. Jaylen Warren, perhaps, might have been able to shake that dude, because if you go back and look at the play, Naji tried to shake him, got inside, but then, I don't know if it was a end or linebacker, was able to still get his arm around him even as he cut inside. A quicker man might have been gone right there. I'm not saying he's going to score or nothing like that. It was good pursuit, but he probably picks up 5 yards because he made the guy miss. He just don't have the shiftiness to get away from him. That's not Naji's game. So I don't know if I'm really, I don't know if I really want to see that much, man. It just, And I'm not saying it, guys, because he lost a yard or whatever. I'm just saying it. Think about all season when you've seen Naji Harris in that situation. Not necessarily thinking he's going to win those unless he stiff arms a guy. So that was my only criticism of the way a play may have looked. Not the play call, but just the way it looked. I don't know if I want Naji in that situation too much, but
I don't. That's not Naji. That's not what he really is. He's kind of like you have to kind of set it up for him to do that. And, you know, comparing that to somebody like Le'Veon Bell, who's trying to set up blocks, he's trying to set you up. Le'Veon Bell was a chess running back. He playing chess. Everybody else playing checkers. So I can't put that on Naji. My whole thing is more, you know, I don't want to see the screen. That's just my personal opinion. I'm just not like, you know what I'm saying? There's two things I just don't want to see. So the screen and that jet sweep, you know what I'm saying? You know, as I said the other day, he out there fiending. You know what I'm saying? Every time I see him running that play, I'm like, yo, man, it's like he's fiending to run that jet. You know what I mean? It's cool when you got Calvin Austin, he breaks one off. And the funny thing is, if you watch other games during the weekend, Kansas City did it a couple of times in the Saints game I was watching. But it's just execution. So I guess it just depends on who's back there. Calvin Austin doing it, great. But every team runs that jet sweep now. It was a high school play that migrated to college and now it's in the NFL. And it is what it is. So, you know, if you're gonna do it, just pick your spots. And I know Canada likes that play, and I know a lot of teams like that play. But that would be my only thing. As far as Naji goes, you know, I'm not worried about, you know, I do agree Jalen can do it. A-Mac can do it. But it's all about getting those blocks set up. So, you know, I will tell you what I did like. I did like them giving the ball to Hayward on that one play. Let him play a little running back. I like that. That was a nice little twist. You know what I mean? I wonder if we'll see that during the year because Herbig can do everything. He's position versatile. So I did like that.
Definitely like that, man. And real quick, guys, let's give a round of applause to Luis as well as my man, Rough House Boxing. Appreciate the donation, fellas. All right. And Luis says, I like the way Kenny looked. He says at the LB enough to give himself. Okay. He says, I like the way he looked at the linebacker enough to give himself room to make the throw to George Pickens. Yeah, man, that's the thing. So this is what I was saying, Malvo. It's like, yeah, I get it. We can say, oh, you know, it was against second or third string. However, that throw, you got to give him credit. Because again, go back and look at the play. And my bad, y'all. I thought I was going to be able to look at the all 22. It doesn't appear to be available. It's there, but it won't play. So I don't think they've opened it up. They didn't do it last year for preseason either. So I was just able to rewatch the game. But they gave us the end zone view from the TV replay. Kenny went to the left first.
Yeah.
So at the hike, he's over here. Comes off of his read, comes all the way back. And some people will say, oh, well, maybe he was looking him off. Maybe. You know, Ben was famous for that. He already know he going here. And if Kenny's doing that, great. But if Kenny was reading one and then one wasn't there and came back, great as well. And then to have the confidence to make that throw and put it in a spot where it had to be. I don't care which string he was playing against. That right there shows, okay, progression. And I might add, it was in the middle of the field, which is something we've been dying for from a Steelers quarterback over the last couple of years. So gotta appreciate that, man. Rough House says, getting a good vibe from Nick Herbig. Thoughts? All right. Since we are kind of doing this on the whim, let's go ahead and talk about it. What are your thoughts, Kenyon? I know that, you know, it's funny. It's rhetorical, me asking him these questions, because, guys, we talk all the time on text and everything, but for y'all to hear it, what are your thoughts about Herbig, especially after seeing him perform, I want to say a 2-sack night? in the
You know,
game.
we could have a conversation we had when we were watching tape on him in college. I mean, me and you had that. Me, you and Tony had a long conversation about that, and
Yep.
you know, I don't. You know, just to tell people in the chat that don't know, like, so me and Sim already, we kind of knew what he was, but there's really been nothing surprising about him except for the get off, which is, but then if you watch his college tape, they couldn't block him in college. So like my thing is he's undersized, but Steelers like undersized, quick guys like that. And him working with TJ in the offseason, he's been doing that for a couple of years now. People don't understand how that helps you when you walk into the league to get drafted to the team, and then have that guy mentor you. It's only going to be better. I'm not going to say he's a steal because it's just early. I mean, he played well. He played well. He solidifies himself in that linebacker room, and he plays special teams, and I like that about him. But his get off is very impressive. You been hearing about it in camp, and he just showed you in the game that he can do it again. And I just look forward to seeing him doing more and more. So, you know, my expectations for him are, I'm just letting it go. They're not high. They're just going to where I think they're going. So I'm cool with him. Enjoyed it and look forward to seeing him play more. How do you feel about that?
Man, I'm always careful with saying names and comparisons. And I want to preface it by saying this. When I say a name of a player, I am in no way, shape, or form comparing the current player to this older player. Also, the reason why I do it, I often use former Steelers because as Steeler fans, most of us should be more familiar with these players. So I'm going to say something, and the smart ones will understand where I'm going with it. I'm curious to see if Herbig will be able to translate his size and lack thereof the same way James Harrison did. I'm not expecting him to be James Harrison. Like, who are we kidding? But what I'm saying is fairly undersized when you think about the traditional edge rusher. You think about the TJs of the world and, you know, these large human beings like homeboy Garrett.
Yeah.
You know, will it translate? You know, and think about James Harrison gave a lot of people fits. He was able to utilize his size to get under some of these tall. Like, I mean, Eric Fisher probably still has nightmares about James Harrison. So I wonder if that will happen. But looking at him, man, like Kenya said, that was kind of the question mark we had for him coming in. He's kind of a tweener, what have you. But, man, it looks like he's utilizing that speed, getting around the edge. Again, you know, if we're going to say, oh, well, it wasn't against top tier. Okay. But, again, talent is talent. Y'all remember, I'll give you a perfect example. Remember when we were saying that about Alex Highsmith in preseason when he wasn't a starter? I remember that like yesterday, that people would say, man, he looks good in his time out there. He wasn't playing against starters. Now look at him now. We saw the talent. Remember, this was when Dupree was still there. And it was Dupree and TJ. 48. And at that time, we were looking to see, man, can this dude develop? Oh, man, he looked like he got a pass rush plan already. You know, we were saying that. And he went against the same competition as guys like Tuzar Skipper. Mm-hmm. Same competition as guys like Quincy Roche. And he rose to the top. So all I'm saying is talent is talent. You know, if it translates, it does. But I just don't think it's fair on an NFL level. Think about that. Yeah, we can say first, second, and third, but it's still the NFL. Like, I don't think you can just go out there. Because think about it. The second and third string sometimes in preseason is dudes who play regularly.
Yeah, they're rotation guys.
Yeah.
Those are rotation guys. So, yeah.
So, yeah, man, I'm with you. Again, Mr. Malvo, I don't want you to think I'm disagreeing. I'm just saying I kind of look at it a little bit differently when I'm assessing the talent of a player. You know, just being able to watch him and say, that dude got some skill. He's nice. And that jumps off the screen sometimes. It don't matter, you know, who they're going against. His talent is talent. So that's what I like about Herbig, man. He showed up. He answered a lot of questions right away. I said this on the post-game show, you know, in case some of you guys didn't see it. I would love to see our coaching staff take this approach. Let's say next week is the tune-up game or the week after. I would like to see them rotate some of these dudes in there early. So if this coming week is a tune-up game, go ahead and throw Herbig out there while that first team offense is still out there. Let's go ahead and throw Benton out there and see.
Yeah, I will say this. I will say this. You know, if you watch the game, Herbig was really the fourth linebacker to come in the game. Like people are like kind of skipping that. Like Perales was in the game before him.
Sure was.
Perales got a lot of run. Perales got a lot of pressure in that game because he missed the tackle when they did the little sweep. Remember he missed him. He missed him. Guy went right past him.
Yeah.
Perales is, you know, I told Sim, I've been telling people. I saw that kid at Fresno State sack Caleb Williams 2 times in the game. Oh, I saw the game. You know what I mean? Again, he was a monster. I don't know if he's gonna make the team, but I know he's gonna make the practice squad because he's already shown you like he's big, he's stronger than you think he is. And I don't get too hype on that stuff really because of the name you mentioned, which is so apropos. Tuzar Skipper. Tuzar Skipper is the reason why I'll never get hype in the preseason because I remember Sim, we remember this. People were like, "Oh, that guy is going to be." I was like, "It's the preseason. I don't care what he does in the preseason. It doesn't matter till we get into a real game." Everybody was hyped after game 1, game 2. He got a fumble recovery, he got a sack fumble. I remember all that stuff. Remember those games? Where's Tuzar Skipper right now? And I rest my case.
That is a
Gotta
fact.
let it play out.
That is a fact.
Now, you know, I'm just watching the game. That's what I saw. I mean, it is telling that Perales got those snaps before. You know what I mean? Because some of those guys didn't even show up. Quincy Roche, I don't even remember him being on the field because he really didn't do nothing to me. But yeah, Herbig and some of those guys were okay. You know what I mean? And I'm not hyping up Perales because I don't think he's going to make the 53. I think he's just not. I think Herbig might win that fourth linebacker spot. But as Sim said, he's undersized. Whereas you look at Perales, he's bigger than him. You know what I mean? And he showed pass rushing ability, which is something I actually was looking forward to watching. And I went back and watched it to see how much pressure he got. So I kind of like that. And we'll see how he progresses along the preseason. We'll see how the Steelers view him at some point. So, yep.
Definitely rooting for him, man. I mean, why not? And I'm just looking at his measurables. Let me see. 6'2", 240. Now, it everyday man walking around, that's a pretty big dude. But
that's a big dude.
as an edge rush guy, you know, again, just look at some of the premier edge rushers in the league. They way bigger than that. But I mean, he's bigger than James Harrison in terms of height. And James played about around there, right? About 240-ish.
Yeah.
So not super small, but he's just not the prototypical current day NFL edge rusher.
Right.
But we'll see.
Especially in 3-4.
Yeah.
Different if he was in a 4-3, he'd be great. Because, you know what I mean, he can get away with that. You know what I mean? But you got to look at it this way. Micah Parsons wasn't big coming in. Big coming in. And they have Micah. You can argue he's one of the top 2 or 3 edge rushers in the league. You know what I mean? They got him playing multiple positions. So.
Yeah. We'll see, man. I mean, you think about guys, even though, again, you can't compare them, but you think about dudes like, what was my man's name that was short, stocky dude? Like Dumerville.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's a possibility for him to still have and like I said, he's taller than those guys. He's bigger than them in terms of stature, but you know, kind of think about it like that. and we'll see. I'm rooting for him, though. I mean, anytime you hear that he's working with TJ Watt and TJ Watt joking about saying, hey, man, I'm going to have to stop showing him all my moves because he's literally doing every one of them. And his get off, I ain't mad at that. The last time we was excited about somebody's get off, he just got paid. But it can't be too excited because there was another guy, and we just mentioned him a little while ago, who had an insane get off, and he just, he didn't decide to play until his last year and a half with the Steelers. But let's get into it. 48.
Oh, 48.
48. He could get off the ball. I give him that, but he just, man.
I mean, 48 was 6'4", 260. He was a specimen. And
if he could have just played like he did that last, man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It just reminds me so much, and I don't want to use a basketball analogy, but it reminds me of that power forward / center that plays out here in LA. It just reminds me of him. Oh,
gosh, man.
Every time I watch the game, I'm like,
street clothes.
That's what he reminds me of. Street clothes, man. Every time I see that, I'm like, yo, man. So much talent.
Such a disappointment, man. I hate when I feel like just spend 2 seconds there, man. I think that Anthony Davis is uber talented. He just doesn't play the way I think he should play. I don't know. And my boy catch some of that too.
Yeah.
My boy MB catch a little bit of that too. He just don't. Just imagine a world where he played inside out. Oh my Lord. Like the Joker.
Yeah.
MB can play like the Joker any day of the week with more finesse and more athleticism. He could.
Like I said, the only thing Embiid, I don't want to stay on basketball, but the only thing Joker has on Embiid, and this is something you can't teach and you'll never get it, he doesn't have the ability to pass the ball, to see the floor the way Jokic does. Jokic is doing stuff that, I played basketball. I know a guy that did this back in the day, but we never really got to see him in the NBA. But his son plays in the NBA right now. His son plays for the Sacramento Kings and plays center for them, Sabonis. The original Sabonis was doing what Jokic was doing, but he never played in the NBA. He never came over till late in his career. But what you're seeing from Jokic is special. And, I hate to be the bearer of bad news to USA basketball players who get paid, get the bag. They get the bag, and I'm not mad at guys getting the bag. But don't play up to their potential. But Europe is the top 3 players in the world are all from Europe. So if you don't start realizing you need to work on your game.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
Oh man, I see what type of time Malvo on. Good Lord. You said 80 is trash. He's the Chase Claypool of the NBA. Oh, okay. I see what when I see what type of time y'all on.
Nah. I ain't doing that.
Round of applause to we got 2 round of applauses. Same 2 guys. I appreciate y'all, man, for donating. I really do. But let's throw another one around. Rough House Boxing and Luis D. I think we might as well jump into both of these topics, and then we'll get into standout players, in our opinion.
Right.
He says, will Quan Alexander start at the inside linebacker position, the other inside linebacker? So we will get to that. Luis says, I look at these second-year players like Kenny and Calvin. I love what I see, but still cautious into seeing more. I'm wanting to see more, but one guy you just feel he's the real deal is George Pickens. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't even think we got to spend no time saying that. I fully agree with that. Calvin Austin, we're going to talk about him in a second.
Mm-hmm.
George Pickens, man, listen, I said it last year, and it's rare. I think all of us have been able to do that with certain athletes, regardless of the sport. You just can see, man, I'm telling you, after George Pickens made probably his, I want to say maybe 8th catch in the season last year, I was like, oh, he's different.
Yeah.
The smoothness in which he catches. I've never seen nobody like the way he, think about some of them catches last year when he contorts his body. It looks so natural. he don't never look like he's straining.
Right.
Like, think of how clean that Odell catch was, right?
Right.
Pickens, every catch is like that. It don't matter what the degree of difficulty is. It's all so smooth.
Yeah.
I'm like, this kid he's special, man. I just hope we get to see it. Like, I hope we get to see it to its full extent. It's all I can hope for.
Yeah, I think I saw that with him in college, his freshman year, and I was like, yeah, that dude's a little bit different. And I kind of like, I'm always looking for somebody. And I was watching him. I was like, yeah, that guy in 3 years, he might be number one receiver coming out of the draft. But then unfortunately got injured. But I just remember in the national championship game where he caught the post, and he wasn't really 100%. And I was like, yeah, this dude's a little bit different. But he has a quality to me that reminds me of, and since I'm older, I remember him. He has a Lynn Swan quality, but he's not as, Lynn Swan did ballet. So a lot of his catches were just like, he was like, watching him was like watching, and Sim will know what I'm talking about. Watching him is like being in the studio and watching music being made. And he knows exactly what I'm talking about. He knows exactly what I'm saying. It's that type of feeling where that's what Lynn had. And George has that. He's so young. I just want him to stay healthy and keep progressing and get better and better. But I agree. I don't have to talk about GP. I'm not praising that dude. I just want him to play. So I think he's a monster. We know he's a monster. And I think him and Kenny's chemistry is getting better and better as you watch him. And love me some GP.
Look out. I don't want to say this because y'all know we keep it realistic, but I just keep seeing so many analysts now popping up saying, hey, are we sleeping on the Steelers? I'm not going to say that, but I will say this. We might have, even if it ain't this season fully, in the next, let's include this season, let's say the next 1 or 2 seasons, we could very well have a ridiculously explosive offense. Just look at the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Pickens, Deontay, and I know some of y'all don't like him, but man, whatever. Come on, man. Calvin Austin, bruh. A deep run.
If Deontay changes his, because what's gonna happen? You don't want to predict stuff like this because Deontay at this point he's number one. You can say GP still 2. But at some point during the season, it might become obvious that GP is like the guy. And if Deontay can play that 1B to his 1A, it'd be great. And one thing I will say about Deontay, and a lot of people have been on Deontay, even me and we've all been kind of critical of him. I've always said I just wish he had another gear. If he had another gear, he'd be AB. If he had another gear, he'd be AB. But in his those concentration issues that he had. And but I think Deontay has come into camp really well this season. And to be honest with you, he's one of my players I think is going to have a big year. Like I just think he's going to have a big year because he's been really quiet and just going about his business, kind of becoming like a leader. You know what I mean? And I kind of like that. And GP is kind of like a wild child. You got to kind of try to contain him because he's so young. He's ready. You know what I mean? So I got high hopes for Deontay this season. And and the person that you're not talking about, and he probably won't get showcased in the preseason, but he's going to have an effect on the team. Allen Robinson is going to kill people in the slot.
Oh yeah.
He's going to kill people because he did it with the Rams. I saw him out here all the time doing it. So he's going to do it again. And Calvin Austin as your 4th speed guy, just one-on-one, and he proved to you last week he's not an inside guy. He can play slot, but that's not really what he is. He's really an outside guy. And you saw, if you even, he leaving. And we'll get to him, but I'm just saying. So those 4 to me, and look, I got to give a shout out, a little praise to Osaki, because he made the block that freed AMAC. If you go watch that play, they put the 2 tight ends in, and that's him coming back, making that crack back.
Okay.
Back was gone. Go back, watch the play. I gotta give him some props. He might make the team because he's been playing well. Look, he might be the second kick returner. Just saying.
We'll see, because I know Bird didn't do himself no favors. So, sometimes, man, I'll say this as an aside. Being in the NFL camp sucks a little bit.
Yeah.
Because with a 90-man roster, right? And I know it's just the business, because sometimes I know the team is really just letting dudes play like near the end to give them a look for perhaps another team. Because they pretty much know that they know who they have in mind. I think you come in there and let's just say on average you have, and I'm just spitballing, you have 35 people under contract. You know their positions, yada, yada, yada. And then you have the new people in the draft picks. I don't think it's many other players that they really looking at. Like, they're not looking at the 5th safety. I mean, that dude really got to do something because they don't get a lot of playing time. And if they're not getting a lot of playing time in the preseason or at camp, when is the team really evaluating them? You know what I mean? So I feel bad for some of those dudes like Bird. Like, let's say if we don't see him returning any type of kicks or anything in this week, he ain't gonna make it. He's done.
Right.
So Olszewski might make it. Gunner might make it.
Even if he does return one, it's what it is. I agree with you. And taking away a preseason game hurts those guys that are 5th, 6th on the depth chart. You understand what I'm saying? Because you really that's one extra game that you remember. The 4th preseason game used to be all those people play and see if you can make the team. Now you don't even have that. So it's tough now. It's even more cutthroat now because you can't even if you factor in games in camp. But look, Mark Robinson, the safety, has been balling out.
Yeah, he has.
So I guess my question to you is, does he make the team? Because has he shown enough? Has Elijah Riley shown enough to win the slot? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Those are factors. Those are big factors.
Man,
because I think Elijah Riley can make it. That's just he's been making plays.
That's an interesting point too, because remember what Kenya just said. In case some of you guys forgot, was supposed to be what they went into it saying Duke Dawson, Elijah Riley, and Sullivan were competing for slot reps, right?
Yeah.
So if Sullivan ends up winning that, if you're making a team, you can sneak Elijah Riley on the team, and you got a slot capable guy and a safety. That might boot out another quote unquote safety that was trying to make the team because he has that flexibility. Yeah. But Robinson has been doing some things. And then homeboy, the newer guy, not as new, what's his name? Thompson gets a pick in the game.
Got a pick. Right.
It's interesting, man. But again, take notice that these dudes were playing. Some of them other dudes ain't really getting no burn.
Yeah.
So, let's hit this other question, man. And then I got a question for Kenyon and the chat. He says, we asked the question, we just didn't address it. Will Quan be one of the starters? And I'm going to preface that and say I agree with Roughhouse because he says other inside starter. Because right now, I don't think you getting Holcomb off the field.
Nope.
He's solidified. And I think, and what we call it? Buck and Mac, right?
Yeah, Buck and Mac. Yeah, Buck and Mac.
And the Buck is usually the one, I'm trying to remember our defense. The Buck is the one who usually calls the plays and all of that.
Buck has the green dot.
And I was going to say, I think Holcomb was hired. See, was at work today, y'all. And we redoing positions, and we got an open one. I'm trying, Lord have mercy, blurring together. But anyway, I think he was brought in to be the green dot guy.
Yep.
And even if you want to say, well, how do you know that? I mean, somebody else, Minka could use it. I'm not talking literally. I'm saying from the linebacker position, he was brought in. He was replacing the Devin Bush drafted guy and the Miles Jack free agent guy, if that makes sense. That's Holcomb. I think the next guy is going to be the Mac, and that's your thumper, and Landon Roberts or Quan. And I'm going to listen. I know it's just one game. I can't wait to see this next one. But Quan was all over the place, bro. And Landon Roberts played a few snaps because when I went back and watched it, because remember that the night of the game, I asked y'all, I said, yo, was Roberts out there? I don't remember. But he was early. Quan, I'm going to tell you right now, after that first game, and again, this is early, but I'm just giving the eye test. I'm liking Quan and Holcomb out there together. There was a play in that first quarter. I want to say it was either the first or the second drive by Baker. But it's like Quan and Holcomb met at the ball carrier, like along the sideline. Like they were roaming.
Yeah, I was talking about.
I like that, man. And Quan was out there going crazy. I'm going to tell y'all one thing. Quan Alexander, to me, just in that game, did not look like a guy that's been on multiple teams and the guy that's been in the league for 7, 8 years. He looked like a dude that's out there hungry, trying the ball. He was all over the place. Made significant stops. Really liked what I saw of the Quan Alexander, man, because I'm going to be honest, before seeing him play this season, I didn't watch him much when he, last year. I mean, we all know who he was, but, if you didn't watch those teams often, but it's rare that you get a free agent that comes to the team at that stage of their career and they pop off the screen. Mm-hmm. Like, I could read y'all our text messages right now where it was either me or Kenyon or Tony said, Quan again, Quan again. Quan again.
Yep.
That don't happen a lot with what is he, 7th year or 8th year? Something like that.
I think it's 7.
Yeah, it's
He's
something.
been on 4 teams. He's been on 4 teams, so I'm trying to think if this might be 7.
Man, he looked good, man. Oh, okay. Appreciate that. Build his life. So we got it backwards. He said, I can't never remember which is which. He says,
Buck was Vince Williams. Yeah.
The Mac is okay. Got you. So we had that in reverse.
So what happens is that Quan was playing Buck because he didn't have the green dot, and Holcomb playing the Mac because he's calling the defense. So that was. But what happens is that he landed. Look, this is what I think is gonna happen. That game was nice, and Quan doesn't have to prove anything to me. He's been doing this in the NFL for years, so that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna happen in the base 3-4. It's gonna be Landon Roberts and Holcomb. In the base 3-4, if you guys understand what I'm saying, in their base 3-4.
Yeah.
When they go to their nickel base, it will be Quan and Holcomb.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to rotate. The Steelers aren't going to rely on one linebacker to play in the middle anymore, except for Holcomb if he stays healthy. The rest of those linebackers will be moved around. So that means, Roberts will get snaps there and Quan will get snaps there. Elandon Roberts and Quan play alike. If you go watch Miami Dolphins games, Elandon Roberts does the same thing. You just don't want him in coverage. So they both do the same thing. Quan is he's a better athlete, but they do the same things. So to me, that's how it's going to rotate. They're going to rotate linebackers like they rotated their safeties. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to rotate. They don't want to put everything on one linebacker because that experiment has failed. It failed with Devin Bush. So now they're like, okay, let's just get guys to rotate to keep everybody fresh. So that's what's going to see. And I think you'll even see Mark Robinson, if he progresses enough, get a little run there too. I'm just saying. Just watch how it plays out.
I fully agree with that. And I think it'll be more consistent than last year. Because what Kenyon is saying is literally base 3-4, boom. And then nickel sub package, boom. Instead of last year, we were always rotating even in nickel. And it's like, come on, can we get the best 2 out there? And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it carefully because the world is they're so sensitive now. You can't say stuff you used to say back in the day. So I'm not going to.
They all route chestnuts right now.
Oh,
So they all route chestnuts.
I'm not going to say it the way I want to say it, and y'all know if I said it, y'all would know what I meant. But I'm going to say it like this, and y'all can fill in how you would say it. Every now and then, you need that. I love when you get that run through a brick wall white cat, that linebacker. You need them kind. The Jack Hams with no teeth in his mouth. You know that
Lambert.
Lambert, excuse me.
Yeah, right.
Brian Cushion. You need them crazies. The crazy white guy that are just, and Holcomb gave me that. Even watching him I was like, yo, this boy all over the field. But yeah, man, you need that sometimes. I mean, come on, we can talk growing up, man. We know how sports and the cliches and all that. You need that dude sometimes. Because I'm not one of those proud people that feel like, nah, I got to be one. Nah, bro. It's certain times when you need a certain type of dude.
Yep.
And that's the time. Sometimes you need that guy at linebacker. I ain't going to front. I'm not going to front. Sometimes you need that. You need that stick your face in the fan. Love it. The crazy. So y'all just imagine how I, would say it if I was talking to my homeboys. But you can't do that now because everybody's so sensitive. No, he's being racist. No, I'm not, man. It's sports.
Yeah, man.
Y'all know what I'm saying. Yeah, Romanowski. Yeah, man. You need one of them every now and then.
Yeah, man. You need
one of them country fed, like, man.
Who just went to the Hall of Fame from the Dolphins? You need him, man. You need one of those, man. You need those. One of them. You need those cats, man. You need those. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Every great football team that's been a great football team got somebody in the team that has loose head.
Yeah,
crazy,
man.
Bipolar, got something like that. You need those guys on your team, man. It's you don't understand. It's an ingredient. It's like when you're making chili. You know what I mean? If you miss one ingredient, you know what I'm saying? You need that on your team. Everybody can't agree all the time. Everybody can't like each other. Just keep it a buck. We're adults. Everybody can't like each other when you're on the same squad. You just can't. If we all friends on team, we ain't winning. I'm just telling you right now. If we all friends, we're not winning. Nah, because every time something bad happens, you're gonna pat them on the back. Hey man, that's all right. Nah, man. Nah. Sometimes I need to get in you. Sometimes I need to get in you. You know what I'm saying? It's what me and Sim talk about. It's like if y'all watch The Last Dance, when they showed that part with Jordan, and people's like, yeah, that's exactly why he became what he became. Yeah. You need to do that to people to get what you want, to get the result you want. Everybody can't. I've never seen a happy dynasty ever. In any sport, I've never seen people just be happy the whole time and everybody be cool. It don't work like that. Nah.
You gotta have it, man. Yeah. Oh, Teddy Bruschi, that's a perfect example. You need one of them, man. You know what I mean? Like, and here's the funny thing. And my man Keith said, "Yeah, I hear you. I know he know what I'm saying. It's not about race, but it's about race. If y'all dissect that riddle, you need one of them. Sometimes the crazy one."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah man, you just do. I'm sorry. And that's what I love about sports too. We was all the same. It ain't matter. Yep. We were all the same on that field, regardless of what was going on around us. Like, nah, give me him. Give me him. Oh, you go ahead and pick that dude that you think look cute and he the most athletic. No.
Nah.
Give me that boy, that dude right there. He on my squad.
Nah.
We had one of them, man. We had a dude like that I played with, and my coach could literally say, go hit that, and he was going to go hit it. That's what I'm talking about. You need them. Yes, all brothers on the field. Absolutely. So, again, I hope nobody takes that out of context, man. Like I said, you got to be careful nowadays. You get canceled and all this yada, yada, stupid stuff. But, yeah, man.
Everybody's sensitive, man. I told y'all you need to. Every time I see people, I say y'all too sensitive. Everybody used to, this generation used to getting. And I hate to say that, used to getting, orange slices and Capri Sun when you're playing in your games. I told him this. I was in Vegas. I just saw Victor Wembanyama play. Not to, I just saw that. And if you just saw the coddling of players now, it's crazy. It's like I was like, yo, I wish I was growing up now. I'd be straight. If I knew I could never get in trouble, I'd be, oh my God. It's nah, man. Nah.
Strong country dude. Yeah, man. Like
He's
TJ,
crazy, man.
big Wisconsin corn fed. Like TJ is a dog. You need that sometimes, man. You do. You need that.
Look, Troy was crazy. He was an inner crazy. I mean, Troy was crazy. He was inner crazy. You know what I mean? He was a wild boy. You need a Junior Seau. You need somebody like that. That's just that crazy.
Yes.
You just need somebody like that, man. Rest in peace, Junior. But yeah, you need somebody like that. Yeah,
y'all know what I'm talking about, man. It's just this, and we'll end it with this. It's the same reason why everybody tried to discount Christian McCaffrey at his position. Why? Y'all know why. But that's what I'm saying. That don't matter in football, man. It don't matter. With sports, period. A dog is a dog. We just finished talking about the Joker.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man.
Exactly. If you a dog, you a dog. Dog don't look. Sim knows this.
Oh, Jordy Nelson. Woo, Jordy Nelson was cold.
Look, I give you one. I'll throw y'all back. Do y'all remember Jason Sehorn, who played the cornerback position? Who ran a 4-3?
Now that you don't see. You don't see that. Yo, that dude.
Jason Sehorn, 6'2", running a 4-3, keeping up with Jerry Rice and doing it. Look, he was a freak. You know what I mean? And I saw him, he was at USC, so he was a freak. So I know look, man. Look. Those are the two positions that get scrutinized, and you hate to say it, but it just shows you the turn in how football has changed.
Yeah, man.
If you're white and you play cornerback, or you're white and you play running back, scrutiny is coming. It's because they're gonna question why you're there. But as Sim said, McCaffrey, look,
dog.
I'm telling y'all right now, man. Y'all see him. Look, man, and Sim knows. I used to have to deal with him 2 times every year in the Pac-12. Was about to be gone, but every year in the Pac-12, had to see Stanford. So he should have won. I mean, talking about Heisman Trophy. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, Luke Kuechly. Oh, that was my man.
Yeah, Luke.
But yeah, y'all get the gist of it, man. So I'm glad we got Holcomb. I identified him a long time ago watching Washington. I was like, man, this kid is nice. But excuse me. I got a question to throw out there before we get into them. Well, I guess we'll round it up by talking about, we'll go a little bit over time. We'll talk about who were our standouts and who we're looking forward to seeing this coming week. But I got a question to throw out there to y'all and to Kenyon. I'm really not asking Kenyon, but should the reindeer be the number 2 quarterback? I want to know what you guys feel about that. What do you guys think? Should Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, be the number 2 instead of Mitch Trubisky? And I'm going to go out on the limb and say, I don't know. Because this is the one thing I want to say. For as many of y'all that was saying that he needs to be the number 2 and yada, 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 okay. Y'all say that until he does something Rudolph-like that y'all don't like. See, what he proved in that preseason game is just how quick we flip-flop as Steelers fans sometimes. I'm talking to y'all. I could go pull up the chat right now for the post-game show. There's so many people saying, oh, man, he needs to be. That's why. And Trubisky. Come on, man. Listen. Rudolph, the biggest problem that Rudolph has, and y'all know it's true, because he's going to show it to you at some point. Rudolph stares down his targets. He always has. Maybe he always will. I don't know. Y'all remember at one time I was fighting for him, saying, nah, man, give him a chance. I think we've seen enough of him now. Now, can he run the offense? Yeah. One thing he does well, he throw that deep ball. And he put it right on the money. Can't lie. I mean, Austin did his thing, but he did not have to slow down for that ball. The thing was right there. Rudolph threw a good deep ball. Better deep ball than Trubisky threw earlier in the game when that interception happened, because homeboy Cody White had a little step on the defender. If he puts it out in front, it's either caught or incompletion out of bounds. But he didn't. That ball was a little bit late, and dude made a heck of a play. But Mason Rudolph put the ball out there. Mason Rudolph also had a ridiculously bad throw earlier in that drive to Calvin also, or it might have been a drive before that on that quick out. I don't know what he was doing there.
Yeah.
But it's funny, man. Again, like I said, this is not a diss. I have to say this every time because I understand it's new listeners and viewers each time. I appreciate y'all. The phrase I like to use is the highlight watcher, and that's not a diss. But let's be honest, most people who watch NFL football are not really looking at the intricate details. They're just looking at what's happening in the game. Highlights. Oh, man, this dude must be good. He had such and such catches. But y'all ain't looking at all of the other stuff. So those a lot of times are the people that if a guy has a decent game, oh, he needs to be the starter. First bad game he has, oh, this dude sucks. And that's what y'all do with Rudolph all the time, man. It's up and down. He does something decent. Oh, man, see, he should have been playing before. As soon as he throw an interception, y'all dragging him. I don't even know why the Steelers signed him. So I'm just saying, I don't think it makes much difference who the number 2 is. I think in some occasions, Trubisky might play decent enough for us to get out of a stadium. And in other instances, Rudolph might play good enough to get us out of the stadium. But honestly, neither one of them make me feel good inside as far as being the number 2. I'm hoping Kenny don't, I hope we don't have to miss many games without Kenny. So I just thought I'd say that, man, because it's crazy. The amount of people. I had a good time reading them comments, man.
I'll just say this. I think as Steelers fans, I mean, a lot of fans, Sim says it best, you don't have perspective when you're watching certain players play. It's funny because for those people that want Mitch gone and want Rudolph to start, I mean, some people are just, they're play to play. They're not even week to week. They're not even game to game. They're play to play. If you made up your mind about a certain player, it doesn't matter what they do because you'll always fall back on your default impression of the player. So if you didn't like Mitch Trubisky in the beginning, and say for instance he plays well, he goes he throws for 300 yards, no picks, wins the game. That's not going to convince you. But as soon as he throws a pick, you'll say, well, that's the person he is. So it's just Mitch is inconsistent. Rudolph is inconsistent. They're both inconsistent.
Yep.
It's an interesting thing. You can watch the San Francisco 49ers preseason game. Trey Lance, number 1 draft pick for the 49ers, looked horrible in the game. And he's supposed to be the man. But Brock Purdy took his job. You see what I'm saying? It's like you don't know how it's going to play out. And how many teams have great number 2 quarterbacks behind their starter? I want you to name me 5 teams in the NFL right now who have great number 2 quarterbacks. I just want 5. That's it.
I might not be able to name 5 backup.
That's my point. And that's my point.
To be honest.
That's my point. You can't name me 5 right now. Who's the backup in Kansas City?
We've seen him play too, but I don't even know if that dude's still there. I don't even know if the guy I'm thinking is still there, and I don't remember his name.
Who's the Ravens? We know the Ravens backup quarterback. Do you think he's a great quarterback, a good quarterback?
No, he's so it can run that offense. Well, that offense at that time.
At that time.
Yeah. What is the dude's name for Kansas City, man? We all know because he had to play in the playoffs. I don't remember. We all know though, because we all were watching that game. He came in and had to play. Chad Henne. Was it Henne?
I don't know if he's still there.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's still there or not.
I'll tell you right now.
I don't know if it was Chase. Chase Daniel used to be there.
He used to be there.
Back up, but that wasn't the dude who played last year. I think it was Chad Henne when Mahomes went down.
Yeah.
Somebody said he retired. See, just like that, Kenyon's point is proven. None of us right now know without looking it up.
And I gotta look it up. I'm looking it up just to see. Okay, look. No, the backup quarterback in Kansas City is Blaine Galbert.
Wow.
Blaine Galbert.
Somebody said the guy we drafted is there. Who? Which guy we drafted is with Kansas City?
Yeah, who was that?
Blaine Gabbert. Didn't his career started in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, he was in Jacksonville. Yeah. He was in Jacksonville.
Oladokin. Oh, man. But he ain't the backup. He is one of the backups.
Yeah, he's not the backup. The backup is Blaine. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so the reality is that if your starter is down, your number two is your number two. And if you look at the other number twos in the NFL, just go over every team, you can argue the Steelers have the second best, one of the best twos in the league. Because I keep it in division. Who's the backup in Cincinnati?
Don't know. I have no idea. Who's Philly's back up? Who's Cleveland's back up now? Is it Dobbs again? Didn't Dobbs go back over there?
No, it was not Dobbs. We just saw him. Me and you were talking in the game. It's from Minnesota. You know what we talking about? What's his name?
We did just see him. We
just saw him. We commented on him. Yeah, that's the backup.
I got him in that text, I'm sure.
Yeah, is it
Because I remember you was like, man, I ain't know so-and-so was with.
Yeah. Is it it starts with an M, right? Is it Moody? Is it
Mario?
What's his name? No, Mariota's in Atlanta. Mariota's in Philly.
Oh, that's right. He's in Philly now, Mariota.
He's in Philly.
Who is that in Cleveland? I can't remember.
Hold up, man.
Yo, his Kenya's poor. Oh, Mond.
Kelly Mond.
Kenya's point is being proven, guys.
I'm just saying.
Who the backup in Dallas? Who's the backup in Detroit? I don't know these dudes. You're right. So when you put perspective on it, Trubisky and Rudolph might not be too bad when you compare them. And see, that's a lesson that we all have to learn sometimes, man, as fans. Sometimes it ain't is. We want I'll say this about Steeler Nation. And you probably could say this about all fan bases, but I'm going to talk about us. And when I say us, I'm really talking about y'all. We want every position to be the best in the league. And that's just how we are. It don't work like that. It just doesn't. We want both safeties to be the best safeties in the world. We want the two shutdown corners, the absolute stud in the nickel, the absolute best pass rushers, which an argument could be made. We in the conversation. We in the conversation now on the edges.
Yep.
The best receiver, the best quarterback, the best everything. It just don't work like that. It just doesn't. So sometimes you have to acknowledge where your stars are. I mean, hey, perfect timing. You know, y'all know Madden dropped. Well, the early one dropped today. When you cut Madden on, don't you see there's some players on the team that got the little star? That's what I'm saying. It's not a Madden Ultimate team. When you see guys play MUT, some dudes get a lineup so big that every player got a star. It don't work like that in the NFL. So sometimes we just got to accept that, I might have to eat my own words there. Maybe Trubisky and Rudolph ain't so bad if you look at them as a backup capacity.
I just compare them to what I see. And as my original question was, you can't name me 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You can't name me 5. You can search your mind. You cannot name me 5. I mean, you can say Jameis Winston, and that's cool. But after that, you're going to have a hard time convincing me that there's somebody better than Who's the backup quarterback in Buffalo? Who's the backup quarterback with the Raiders? Who's the backup quarterback in LA? Both LAs.
I don't know.
That's my point. So when people say that to me, I always say I try not to get into that argument because I'm like, you can't name me 5 people. So if you can't name me 5 people that are better than Mr. Trubisky at the number 2, we can't talk. Because in Cleveland, Munn is 2, and the kid out of UCLA, what I told Sim about DJ, he's going to make the team. He's going to be a 3rd quarterback. So he's going to make it.
Teddy Bridgewater. Ooh, he in Detroit?
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater's in Detroit. And he's not going to start. So you name me 2 people. Do you think Teddy Bridgewater is better than Mr. Trubisky? Overall?
Ooh, that's
I'm just asking a regular question.
The one thing I would want to give to Teddy, you can't. If somebody want to say experience. But honestly, Real G Lee said yes. I don't know. Listen, Teddy, I'll say this.
He's past his prime, so you have to factor that
in. If I had to guess, I would say Teddy might win me more games than Trubisky.
I would agree with that.
But it's a small margin. I can't clearly say Teddy is like light years better. Because Teddy had a couple moments in one of them seasons, then he went back downhill. His accuracy took a hit. He started throwing interceptions as he was doing good earlier in the season. So, Andy Dalton. I forgot about Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, at this point in his career, is not better than Mitchell.
Oh, man. Yo. Guys, I think this point, whatever side of the coin you on, I think we all got to agree that, yeah, our situation ain't as bad as we would think it is when you really compare depth at backup quarterback in the NFL. So
it's not. It's hard to have 2 good quarterbacks on your team. I mean, I guess you could say if you go talent wise, you could say Tennessee.
Yeah.
You want to go talent, but
Minshew. Minshew, okay. What about my boy? What's my man name? I don't even know if they kept him or not.
Who?
What was the little dude that played for Washington last year?
Oh, your boy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah. I think he's still on the squad.
What's his name, man? Heineke.
Yeah. You love Heineke.
Heineke ain't bad. I mean, he's not great, but Heineke got a little something, a little spunk to him, man. And I feel like I could win a game or 2 with him. And I only name him because I don't know who their starter is actually going to end up being. It could be Howell. So, again, but look at the depth. Howell hasn't improved much. So, again, if you want to go from 1, 2 to 3.
And that's how I'm looking at it. I'm only looking at it like that. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it at potential. I'm looking at it who actually can be number 2 legit in the league right now. Yeah. And like I said, you can't name 5. There
Heineke's in Atlanta. They say he's in Atlanta. He ain't with Washington. See?
Washington tanking. I keep telling everybody Washington's tanking.
Yeah, I would.
Washington is on Caleb Williams #1 watch. I'm telling y'all right now.
They knew like I knew. I would be tanking.
Yeah. They're on Caleb Williams watch. So is Arizona. You think I'm joking? Arizona is on Caleb Williams watch. And I know they signed your boy quarterback. I'm telling you, Caleb Williams is available at #1. They are taking Caleb Williams, and they will get rid of. No disrespect. And they're both quarterbacks were coached by Lincoln Riley. But Caleb is different. Caleb is that's a different dude right there.
I hope he have a great season, man.
Yeah, I do get it.
Yeah, I hope he does.
Yeah. But your boy at Florida State is going to go in the high in the draft. And I love him too. Quarterback. I love that dude. Love that kid, man.
But all right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap up with our standouts. We'll speak briefly on them, and then I'll go ahead and get out of here, man. I got to go run, take care of some stuff with the little man. Real quick, I might miss somebody, but I'll just be quick. We don't have to spend all day here. Calvin Austin, I say what stood out about him was the fact that he was healthy and played and showed off his speed. As I sit here today, I'm trying to think of were there other moments where he caught my attention outside of that deep shot? Not necessarily. But not necessarily his fault either. But that was impressive, and it was a standout to me because, again, this is what we've talked about since he was drafted. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see him play last year, and he showed it in game. And I'm telling you, as a cornerback, that has to be painful when a dude just runs right past you. Like, there was no impeding, nothing. He just got on his horse, you was on yours, and my man was just out. Like, oh, it looked like a kindergartner was guarding him. Like, it was crazy. His speed was on display. That stood out. Man, Keanu Benton. Man, I just watched a little bit more of the game about a couple of hours ago before the show. Man, that dude, there was a stretch in that game where it looked like you couldn't block him. He was that quick, getting in the backfield, being disruptive, getting penetration. I was like, oh boy. And this is the stuff that they talked about that we saw. You know, you watch him in college, his quickness translated so far. You know, of course, he's not going to be a finished product. All of these guys are going to have certain things that they need to build. But man, Keanu Benton was a freak out there. I love that. Because if we can, man, just think it. I was telling Kenyon and Tony earlier this week, man, or it might have been over the weekend. Cam Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi, a healthy Larry Ogunjobi, Highsmith, and TJ. That's a nasty four. And you telling me we can get contributions, real contributions by rotating Benton in, Leal, even Loudermilk was out there doing a couple things.
Yeah, impressive.
Man, the Steelers might mess around and have some real depth. Like a 7-man rotation for real. Like, well, even more than that, because then you got to include guys like Herbig. You know, that can help with. And let's see, Marcus Golden didn't see or hear much from him in the game. He played early on.
Yeah.
Who else was a standout? Real quick, for me, I'm not gonna say Pickens or anybody like that. It was early. They only did that one drive. I'm missing some Herbig, but I feel like I'm missing somebody. So I'll stop right there, and I'm sure Kenyon will fill in the blanks. But those guys that I mentioned, Quan, the dude, Quan Alexander, sign him up and give him a starting position right today. The way I feel, he looked like he was on a mission. So that's all I got. What you got, Kenyon? I'm sure it's pretty much some of the same people, but anybody else?
Nah, there's nobody. Me and you have agreed. I mean, it's hard because me and you, since we talked about it already, texting about it during. So for me, it's just the same people. I think Benton's a dog. I agree. The more interesting thing to me is going to be how many defensive linemen they keep. That's what I'm very interested in that. Yeah. Calvin Austin, come on, man. Speed kills, man. And he got a different gear. He has a, that's a different gear right there, bro. If he can stay healthy, he's going to do a lot of good things for us this year. In the kick return game and the punt return game, and he's going to do a lot of stuff for us. I like him. A change of pace, I would like to say.
Absolutely.
Other than that, everybody else who I kind of went to the game looking for, not seeing JPJ changed my viewpoint on the game.
Yeah.
But everybody else I was cool with. At this point, like I said, game 1 is hard. Game 2, I have a better idea, and then game 3, we'll kind of have a feeling what's going on of what I feel about certain players. Herbig, we talked about Herbig. So me and you are the same. We don't have to go into this. Me and you are the same. We have the same people that we like.
I need to go back because again, I said I was going to do it after the game, but since I didn't have access to the all 22, it kind of killed what I wanted to do. I need to really pay a little more attention to Broderick Jones. I want to probably just watch him. Maybe I'll just go from the point that he got in the game and just watch all of those, because you can watch the condensed version of the game with Game Pass and just watch his snaps, because I want to see what looked good, what looked like something that he might need to work on, what might have looked bad, and then I'll have that to compare it in the next game, because I'm sure he's going to play again. But that's why I didn't name him, guys, because I didn't get a chance. I didn't hone in just on him. It's kind of hard, to really say what the line did. I mean, you can see it in real time, but with the TV tape really doesn't allow you to really see all 5 guys and see what was happening and who did what. And I mean, the glaring issues you see, like Kendrick Green, you see those.
Right.
It's evident, even on the TV tape. And I don't recall seeing too many moments like that. There were a couple moments that I know that I saw Broderick Jones in the backfield, but I can't say if he gave up, because there was one, it was a sack. However, if you remember on this play, Jones pushed the guy out,
right.
Quarterback scrambled. I want to say it was Rudolph.
It was Rudolph. He ran into the sack.
Ran into the sack. The defender was just able to play off of him. So, like, some people would look at that and say, "Oh man, Jones gave up a sack." No, he didn't.
Nah.
So little
Some
stuff
of it's
like
on
that.
the quarterback. I think I'll give you a quick on Broderick. He was up and down. He had some stuff that he could have been better at. But I like what I saw from the stuff he did. He did maul 2 people, and I was like, I love that. But his progression to me, that's the person I'm really focused on. But I'm just letting it play out. You know what I mean? Because I just think he's so young that I just can't wait to see him when he puts everything together. When he puts everything together, it's going to be on. But as of today, Dan Moore will be ahead of him, and that's just an experience thing. But I just, I like what I saw from Broderick. I can't judge him off of that game. He did some good things, and as Sim said, he did his job. Now the sack he gave up, you could say that was on him, and that was more a technique thing. But look, they caused the fumble. We recovered the fumble, so we hustled. So it wasn't like he quit. So I give him that. So so he was up and down. I'm not going to look at him like that. I'm just going to wait to see how he progresses. And I like what I saw from a little bit I did see from him. So positive things for me with Broderick. I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, and you got to understand too, guys, at a position like that, I'm not mad at the fact that if he doesn't start this year, allow him, because everybody, the assessment is this dude has uber talent. It just has to develop. And I'm cool with being able to let him sit so long as Dan Moore is not having a horrific season. I'm comfortable with allowing the left tackle to get his feet wet, develop, and then become the starter. So we don't have to rush him into the game. So we'll see how that works. But guys, I am actually a little over time, so I gotta run. I can't even chat with my man after this because I'm getting texts and what have you. So got to get out of here, man. But great show tonight. Appreciate everybody coming through. I love when we're able to do these still tables because I like conversation, and it gives you guys an opportunity to see the kind of stuff that me and Kenyon talk about all the time via text or what have you. So y'all seem to enjoy it as well. So before we go, I'm going to just remind y'all, boom, right there. Like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Doesn't cost you anything to do any one of the 3 of those. So go ahead and do that. But other than that, stay safe. Have a good night. God bless. Let's get ready to watch the Steelers once again this coming weekend. And if I could keep this thing in the headphones, I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with this long cable.
Where's your charger? We have the same headphones. Where's your charger at?
It's plugged into the PlayStation.
Oh.
So that's probably what I have to do too. Is I keep forgetting I can just plug in the wireless dongle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But all right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Again, y'all stay good. Catch y'all. Well, actually, I should catch y'all after the game because I should be able to do another post-game show. If not, I'll let you know via Twitter or what have you. But all right, man, y'all be good. Catch y'all later. Peace.